The world is on edge. From the global pandemic to the war in Ukraine, the last few years have been a wake-up call. And as we look ahead to 2025 and beyond, one thing is clear: more turbulence is coming. We're facing a period of profound uncertainty and rapid change, unlike anything we've seen in decades. The decisions we make today, both individually and as a global community, will determine the course of the future. Over the next few minutes, we're going to examine 5 key global turbulence triggers to watch between 2025 and 2027. These are the forces that have the potential to reshape the world as we know it. Some are economic, some are political, and some are technological, but they are all interconnected, and they will all have a profound impact on our lives. The first trigger is the most immediate and perhaps the most dangerous: the global economy. The warning signs are flashing red. We're already seeing a slowdown in growth in major economies, including the United States and China. Inflation is still stubbornly high in many parts of the world, forcing central banks to raise interest rates, and the debt levels of both developed and developing countries are simply unsustainable. This toxic mix of economic headwinds is creating a perfect storm for a global debt crisis. Think back to 2008, when the collapse of Lehman Brothers triggered the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. Now imagine something similar happening today, but on a much larger scale. That's the kind of scenario we're facing. And the consequences could be devastating. Rising unemployment, social unrest, political instability, and even mass migration are all possible outcomes. Developing countries, already struggling with poverty and inequality, would be hit particularly hard. The second trigger is geopolitical conflict. From the ongoing war in Ukraine to the simmering tensions between China and Taiwan, the world is a powder keg waiting to explode. The rivalry between the United States and China in particular is creating a new Cold War, with potentially catastrophic consequences. Both sides are engaged in a dangerous arms race, developing new and more powerful weapons, including hypersonic missiles and cyber weapons. And both sides are increasingly willing to use military force to achieve their objectives. In this environment, even a small miscalculation could have disastrous consequences. A single incident in the South China Sea, for example, could easily spiral out of control, leading to a wider conflict that draws in other major powers. And in a world armed with nuclear weapons, the stakes couldn't be higher. The third trigger is technological disruption, driven by the rapid pace of artificial intelligence. AI is already transforming our lives in countless ways, from the way we work to the way we interact with each other. And its impact is only going to grow in the years to come. But while AI has the potential to solve some of the world's most pressing problems, it also poses significant risks. One of the biggest concerns is the potential for job displacement. As AI becomes more sophisticated, it's going to automate more and more tasks that are currently done by humans. This could lead to mass unemployment, social unrest, and even political instability. Another concern is the potential for AI to be used for malicious purposes. In the wrong hands, AI could be used to develop autonomous weapons systems that can kill without human intervention. It could also be used to create sophisticated propaganda and disinformation campaigns that undermine democracy and sow discord. The fourth trigger is climate change. The science is clear. Our planet is warming at an alarming rate, and the consequences are already being felt around the world. From more frequent and intense heat waves and droughts to rising sea levels and more powerful storms, climate change is a threat multiplier that is exacerbating existing problems and creating new ones. One of the most immediate impacts of climate change is on food security. As temperatures rise and rainfall patterns become more erratic, harvests are failing in many parts of the world. This is leading to higher food prices, food shortages, and even famine. And as more people are forced to flee their homes in search of food and water, we can expect to see increased migration and displacement. Climate change is also a major driver of conflict. As resources become more scarce, competition for land, water, and other essential resources is intensifying. This is leading to increased tensions between countries as well as within countries. And as climate change continues to bite, we can expect to see more conflict and instability around the world. The fifth and final trigger is the erosion of democracy and the rise of authoritarianism. Around the world, we're seeing a disturbing trend of democratic backsliding. From Hungary to India to the United States, elected leaders are chipping away at the institutions and norms that underpin democracy. In some cases, this is happening through outright coups or power grabs. But more often, it's happening gradually, through a series of small steps that erode democratic norms and institutions over time. This includes things like restricting freedom of the press, suppressing dissent, and weakening the rule of law. As democracy erodes, it becomes easier for authoritarian leaders to consolidate power and silence their critics. And once they're in power, they're often reluctant to give it up. This creates a vicious cycle that can be very difficult to break, and it has profound implications for human rights, the rule of law, and global stability. We've just covered 5 major turbulence triggers: a global economic crisis, escalating geopolitical conflict, rapid technological disruption, accelerating climate change, and the erosion of democracy. These are not just abstract threats. They are real and present dangers that are already having a profound impact on our world. The years ahead will be challenging, but they will also be a time of great opportunity. By understanding the forces that are shaping our world, we can start to prepare for the future and build a more resilient and equitable global community. The time to act is now. Stay informed, stay engaged, and demand that your leaders take action to address these critical challenges. The future of our world depends on it.